All right, let's start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rucha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is The Hard Truth. And pretty much this comes from a video I was just watching. Pretty much the title came after, but I was watching this video. The young elder, the priest, Amawang Gabar, and he was doing a lesson on a dream that he had, which was a vision of the hard times that are coming. And I was reading this particular scripture, and the title came to me, The Hard Truth. So I wanted to use that as a platform to this lesson. And I linked the priest video to this video, so you can go to the description box and you can see the video. I watched about half of it so far. And these are the times that are coming, and a lot of these jakes out here, they're not ready for it. They're not prepared. So it's gonna be harder on them because they're not prepared for what's coming. And that's what's gonna be the beautiful thing about it, because we've been telling them, they ain't listening. So hey, it is what it is. Nevertheless, the prophecies are still coming to pass no matter what. So I looked up the hard truth meaning. It says hard truth. It says a truth that is difficult to accept. And the reason why it's going to be difficult to accept is because these people out here, it's mainly Jake, are not prepared for what's coming. And that's the thing, one thing to be prepared for what's coming, to embrace embrace for impact, and another thing for something to blindside you or broadside you, And the majority of these jakes out here, they're not ready for what's coming. Should you have Israelites that call themselves Israelites that are not ready for what's coming? It's going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible. Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure, and that's why it's important to understand, this knowledge, this truth. It's important to fear Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. It's important to fear and reverence the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, because the times that are coming are going to be very terrible and dreadful. And the only ones that's going to be protected are the elect, the servants of the Lord, the true servants of the Lord that are doing his bidding, that are doing his work in sincerity and truth to the best of their ability. So the scripture I want to highlight, Salakim. Salakim for that. The scripture that I want to highlight in this lesson is Jeremiah the 30th chapter, which Elder Pastor has gone over this. Other brothers have hit on this. And as I was reading through, I was going to read through the whole chapter before I started, but I started going through some of it, and precepts started coming to mind, and I said, let me just jump on it right now while the iron is hot, So we're going to start off right at the first verse. It's Jeremiah. We're going to get through as much of it as possible. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 1, the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, saying, thus speaketh the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the power of Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. And this is what we have right now. And this particular prophecy that this is speaking about now. It wasn't speaking about during the Assyrian Empire. It wasn't speaking about during the Babylonian Empire. It wasn't speaking about during the Medo-Persian Empire. It wasn't speaking about during the Greek Empire. It wasn't speaking about during the Roman Empire. It's speaking about right now. And you can get that out of it or extrapolate that out of this based off of what's written. Because remember, we as a nation went into captivity separately. The two different nations, the two different kingdoms went into captivity separately, not together. Although you did have a sprinkle of the northern kingdom among the southern kingdom, but as a nation, we didn't go through these things together. This chapter encapsulates that we're going to be going through this together. all of the tribes collectively together. Remember, the Lord is building up the tabernacles of David that are falling. The tabernacles of David included all 12 tribes. Not 3, not 9, not 10, not 11, not 7, but all 12 tribes. So it goes on to say in verse 3, for lo, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel and Judah. Whenever you hear the scripture say, I will bring again the captivity, meaning that the Lord is going to deliver us from that oppressive state. But the other key here is my people, Israel and Judah. Israel and Judah are the people of the Lord. So why is it making a distinction between the two? Because the kingdom was split. It was divided. Let's go from there real quick to same book of Jeremiah, chapter 3. And we're going to go straight to the point. And that is in verse 18. In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel. That did not happen in any of those other captivities. So in that day shall the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers. We were never together in captivity in the land of the north. That land of the north where we went into captivity together is here in America. Prior to Judah, Benjamin, and Levi getting to this side of the world, from the late 1400s until the southern kingdom started arriving here, we were getting our asses kicked by these devils. Then when Judah and the rest of the tribes were brought over here, then we started to be oppressed together. And this is why you have a lot of incidences where Gad and Reuben, mingled together with Judah, and they fought against Esau because we had the same enemy. This is why during the 60s and 70s you had the revolutionary movement of Judah, you had Ephraim, you had Issachar, so on and so forth, having similarities in the oppressor and having similar incidences and situations happening to them in the ghettos and barrios of America, to where they banded together, to speak against, the oppressor and to try to find a solution to their problems. But what they didn't understand was this: they came together, but they didn't have that breath in them, which is this truth. All right, through the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and the Holy Spirit, the Racha Kodash. Right, so it says, in those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel. This is back in Jeremiah 3. Jeremiah 3. I'll read it again. In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers. And the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, is going to bring us back there. Not ourselves. Not no fleet doctrine. Not no get no passport, get a flight out of here to go back to the land. The Lord is going to bring us back there in style. So going back to Jeremiah 3 and 30 and 3, for lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Why? Because we were oppressed together in this land. No other captivity were we oppressed together. And I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. And we just read that, in Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 4. And these are the words that the Lord spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. So this is a future prophecy. And when did this future prophecy happen? This future prophecy is happening right now as we speak. All we're waiting for now is the rest of these prophecies to pop off so that the Lord can bring forth the final analysis of it, which is the deliverance of the nation of Israel, which is going to consist of the destruction of Esau, the other nations here in America, and 2/3 of Israel here in America. It says, for thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. And this is what the priest Amawan Gabar was saying, that it was like chaotic out there. The short video that the brother the young elder Gabar Yahweh out there in Hawaii made, or put up was a woman, a Jake woman that seen visions of the destruction. Pretty much, she seen vision of Jacob's trouble, and she couldn't stop crying. She was all messed up because she saw chaos, she saw destruction, she saw, I'm pretty sure she saw people killing themselves and all of that, and she couldn't stop crying because it was so horrific. And she saw herself being beamed up, but her mom's got left behind. And in the dream, she said she wanted to go. I want to go back to my mom. He said, no, it's too late. So you're gonna find out, man, that the Lord ain't playing, man. See, the thing about the Lord is He's cold and calculative. He don't have like we have. He has compassion, like we have compassion because we're made in His image. But He has control of His emotions, okay? Inside joke. His emotions ain't wrapped up in this, all right? His emotions are wrapped up in something else. It's an inside joke. So the Lord, He has compassion, of course, but He has control over everything. See, we, sometimes get overtaken by our emotions, but the Lord don't. The Lord is perfect. So He don't give a damn if your baby girl, your baby boy, your woman, your mom, your dad, or whatever, if they're not on the list, they're getting left. No matter how much love you have for them, no matter how much you try to vouch for them. And this is some real shit. That's why during the time of Jacob's trouble, nobody's going to be spared. Men, women, children, no matter how old you are, how young you are, don't matter. It's going to be terrible. Terrible. All right? So Jeremiah 30 verse 6, ask you now and see whether a man doth travail with child. What does it mean to travail with child? Meaning you're about to have a baby. When a woman has a baby, she goes through all type of pain that she puts her hands on her stomach. She's trying to rub herself. She's trying to find whatever, and I'm not talking about that hoe from TLC. I'm talking about touching herself. I'm talking about, rubbing herself to try to find some type of relief from that pain that's licking her down. So men are going to be that way. Why? Because the times that are coming, and it's not hard to see, because these Jakes in America, they're not warriors. Like a warrior can gird up his loins and just deal with the battle. But here in America, you got a bunch of metrosexuals. I had the young brother yesterday take me around to get some stuff, and we were sitting eating the acai bowl, right? And we looked. I looked at this one dude. I said, this motherfucker. And then I told the brother, I said, look, this dude got a merce on. He said, what's that? I said, a man person. He looked. He said, oh hell no. And these men are metrosexuals, man. These men are soft. These men they're not ready for what's coming. A lot of these women are more masculine than these men out here today, especially Jake. So this is not hard to see that when all hell breaks loose, that they're going to be all fucked up. They're going to be all grabbing themselves and, oh my God, what's going on? Oh Lord. They're going to be screaming worse than the woman. Like in that movie, Tales from the Hood, the hardest dude there, shut the fuck up. He was hitting people. He was all hard, but then when reality hit, he was screaming like a bitch, more than the other two dudes. So back in Jeremiah 30 and 6, ask you now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Here come the devil. Oh, see, they're white. No, that's not what that's talking about, asshole. When you go to the word paleness, the word is Yarakwa 1. Yarakwa 1. Yarakwa 1 goes into the word, it could be used as mildew, paleness, lividness, right? Where there was some more, where's the rest of it? Right. Right, here we go. Of persons, paleness of face, that lurid greenish color in the countenance of men when smitten with great terror. All right. And it could be also applied to plants when they're in drought. All right. So I'm going to read that again. of person, paleness of face, that lurid greenish color in the countenance of men when smitten with great terror. And this is what people out there, brothers, sisters, have been witnessing in these visions and in these dreams that the Lord's given them about the time of Jacob's trouble. And it's no coincidence that this year, through the Spirit, the Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai gave the Apostle Torah the title, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And we could see it. And by the way, the root word of that paleness goes back to the word yarak, which means green thing, right? But the other root word goes into spit, like the word spit, tur, So, man, it's going to be horrible out here for these people. Not a Chinaman's chance in hell. Inside joke. Now, this is the main verse in the chapter, verse 7, in Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. You have to understand that we caught hell under the Assyrians. Big time hell. It was horrific. The horror that Jake had endured, when the Assyrians came and took him down. The southern kingdom went through hell under the Babylonians, the Edomites, so on and so forth. Then they had a little reprieve during the time of the Medo-Persian Empire, but they were still in captivity. Then they started to go back through it again during the Greeks and the Romans. But none of those times are comparable to the times that are coming now. This is why in the book of Daniel 12, right? The book of Daniel, the 12th chapter, in the first verse, it says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, which is what? He is the chief prince underneath Yahushua, the chief archangel underneath Yahushua. The word Ma'aka'Allah, which is how you say Michael in the Hebrew, Ma'aka'Allah is who is like the Most High. So he is a warrior. The scriptures say that the Most High is a man of war. The Lord is his name. All right, so Michael is a warrior. He is like the Most High, the Lord created him as such. So he is a top warrior underneath Yahushua that's going to come to do battle. So this top warrior has to be the one that has to come down with Yahushua to help the elect because of how hard shit is going to be. And at that time, what time? The time of Jacob's trouble. Shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. I'm just curious. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay. The word Imad, which I knew was Imad, but I wasn't sure if they might have used a different word. Damn. NLT. At that time, Michael, the archangel who stands guard over your nation, will arise. Then there will be a time of anguish greater than any since nations first came into existence. But at that time, every one of your people whose name is written in the book will be rescued. Wow. Shall be rescued. That's heavy. All right, so back in Daniel 12:1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, this is the KJV, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, and at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. So only the elect are going to be delivered. Remember, the Lord said, my servant shall eat, my servant shall drink, my servant shall rejoice, But the rest of these Israelites out here that took the word of the Lord lightly, especially the ones that know that they're Israelites, they're going to be in trouble. They're going to be in a real hard situation, between a rock and a hard place. They're going to be forced to face, the hard truth. So Jeremiah 30:7, Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And I'm pretty sure the word trouble goes back to the same, because there's a few scriptures that deal with the word trouble. This one, yep, Tazarah, which is, I believe that's fear. Matter of fact, let me just click on it real quick. The word trouble, Tazarah, I believe that's fear. I believe that's fear. Straits, distress, trouble. Yep. It's synonymous with fear. Right, and then when you go back to the root word of that, the word there is tazar. Tazar. Which the word tazar is narrow, tight, straits, distress, adversary, foe, enemy, oppressor. You see? So the enemy that is the oppressor is who? Esau. And they're the ones that's gonna turn it up. They're gonna turn it up, Joe, on Jake out here. Let's go real quick to, you keep on playing, keep on talking shit. You keep on thinking that shit is sweet until the Lord bust that ass. Because you don't want to bust that shit with the Lord, man. Salaka, man, another precept came to mind. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to, contain that silliness. Because this is serious business, but just spare me 1 second. Okay, here we go. All right, so I got. Let me read this first precept first. This is the book of Psalm 17. I'm gonna start at 8 because there's a lot of meat in this. Psalm 17 and 8. Keep me as the apple of the eye, and that's one thing. If you have something that's very dear and close to you, that's the apple of your eye. And this is what we're asking the Lord to do, because the nation of Israel is the apple of the Lord's eye, but his elect right now are the most precious cargo to him right now, because this is where he's going to preserve, his good name and keep his promise that he made to Abraham. See, unlike man, the Most High is not like man. The Most High keeps his word. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai keeps his word. He doesn't break it. That's why he's going to preserve that cluster of the grape, that precious cargo. So this is, keep me as the apple of the eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings, the chariots and the protection of the Lord, from the wicked. Who are the wicked? The Edomites. From the wicked that oppress me. From my deadly enemies who compass me about. And these are the deadly enemies. Now, another precept that came to mind before going to that, which is heavy, is Romans 13. I'm going to go to the point. Verse 4. It says, for he is the minister of the Most High to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, be in trouble. It says, for he, meaning Esau, beareth not the sword in vain. Because that's the blessing that he was given. And that's why it says, and they shall be like madmen, sparing none. You have to understand that once these troops get into full gear and start really getting busy out here, that's going to be the fury of the Lord upon these devils. That's going to be the Lord's anger. He's going to be channeling his anger through these devils. They're going to be turned up. Why? Because the Lord's going to put the spirit on them to be turned up, to punish Jake out here that's playing games. It says, for he is the minister of the Most High, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. See? So back in Psalm 17 and 9, from the wicked that oppress me, in other words, deliver us from the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about. And they're going to be compassing us about in troops. Just like during the time of 70 AD, 66 AD to 70 AD. You had the Roman army compassing Israel back then. When you shall see Israel compassed with armies. Right? So going on, verse 10, they are enclosed in their own fat, with their mouth they speak proudly. Yeah, because they're in a good case. It says, they have now compassed us in our steps. because you know we really don't have. We're worms. We really don't have a defense against them physically, but we have a defense spiritually, which begins with the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai through the Holy Spirit, and this word, this truth that we're learning right now. That's the stability. They have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bound down to the earth. Right? Remember, they have all this technology. You know, they have the power. They are the predator. They're looking down upon Jake. They're going to have the upper hand. They got the power as far as the weaponry and all of that. Technology. So all we have to rely on is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, which is the greatest weapon of all. It says, like as a lion that's greedy for his prey, right? Of his prey, right? And as it were a young lion lurking in secret places, looking for what? Looking for a meal. And a lot of these jakes out here are going to be the meal for Esau. That's what the scriptures speak about, delivering us from the teeth, you know, of the lion, from their power, from their grip. They're gonna stick their claws into the world and put everybody in a stranglehold. You know? It says, arise, O Lord, disappoint him. And the Lord is going to disappoint him. He's not going to be able to, you know, fully implement his enterprise. His enterprise is going to fail. But he's going to get it into position to a certain degree, to a certain point. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So Esau is the Lord's sword. That's why all them thousands of years ago, you know, let's say about close to about 4,000 years ago or so, you know, when Abraham and Isaac were on the scene, when Isaac had two sons, two twins, fraternal twins, Jacob and Esau, he gave Esau the blessing of the sword back about 4,000 years ago or so. And they, to this day, they're using it and they're perfecting it more and more every day. They have technology out there, weaponry that the average person has no clue about. Whatever you see them parading around, that shit is like 20, 30 years old compared to the technology that they have now. But they have nothing in comparison to what the Lord has. That's why those two retired Air Force pilots said that the technology that the so-called aliens have, which are the angels, you know, America's technology, their technology, the angels' technology is 100 to 1,000 years more advanced than anything that Esau has. And they got some shit. You remember the movie Eraser that came out what in the late 90s? And they had them different weapons. People were like, wow, that shit is old news compared to the shit that they have. But they can't fuck with the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You know? So Psalm 17:14, for men which are thy hand, right? Because the Lord is going to be swinging Esau in that time. When these devils come like that, that's the Lord swinging them. When they come as madmen, that's the Lord swinging them. It says, and that's why, you know, in Isaiah the 10th chapter, the Lord cursed these devils out, you know, thinking that they're the ones that's doing the swinging. Look, you're just the hammer, you're just the axe. You know, you ain't the one doing the swinging. The Lord is the one doing the swinging. From men which are thy hand, O Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, from men of the world which have their portion in this life, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasures. They are full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. Yeah, that's why they have true generational wealth. It says, as for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. And that's talking about at the very end when we're delivered. Lord's will we be the elect. So going back to Jeremiah chapter 30, the word for trouble, Tazarah. Right? Let's read that verse again. And now you're starting to see, you know, how things are going to be. And when you watch that movie, A Handmaid's Tale, you see there's one point where they show people being gathered up, being stored, you know, in trucks, livestock trucks, being brought to, you know, different buildings, empty buildings, warehouse buildings, and they show you a part where they were being C-hipped, but they didn't show the C-hip. They just showed a a wristband, a metal wristband with a barcode on it. They're letting you know what they have for the future. And as you progress through that, at the beginning of the movie, they show you Jake being carted off. So you have a whole bunch of Jakes in the back of a truck. It's cold outside. You see the one Jake shivering. Then they'll show you another one where Jake tried to escape. They thought they escaped, and then they were running, and then the next scene you see, they're marching because them devils got them. The Most High is going to be swinging Esau in that time. Hard. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Why? Because you're going to have the elect being saved. Remember Daniel 12. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck. Yeah, and the Lord is going to be the one that break that yoke. Esau is going to come down hard. He's going to, the fangs are going to come out, the claws are going to come out, and the horns are going to come out. But the elect are going to be protected, like it says in Psalms 124, that the snare is going to be broken, and the prey is going to, the prey is going to escape. That being the elect, because you have some elect that will be caught up in that. And will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. Right? Because once this deliverance comes, this is it. This is the last hurrah for Esau. This is the final straw. This is this is where the line is drawn in the sand. After this, there will be no more captivity. So I don't know what the fuck Bishop Nathaniel's talking about. I don't know what the hell Elder Lahab talking about, because he said the same thing, something similar to that. And that's like a demon going out there. The demon of, well, after 1,000 years, and that's why the Apostle Peter said about the Apostle Paul, even though that's dealing with the Apostle John, but the people that wrestle in these scriptures to their own destruction. And when you leave the vine, when you leave the root, this is what happens. You wither. Some wither slowly, some wither rapidly. It all depends. So it says, but they shall serve the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua their power, and David their king, because David is going to actually be on the earth. Yes, Yahushua is the top king underneath the Most High Yahweh, but King David is going to be right underneath him, and he's going to be on the earth in the kingdom as King David. All right, you got these clowns talking about, no, shut the hell up, man. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It says, whom I will raise up unto them. Who? Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua is going to raise up. Not you, fool. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord power. Neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save thee from afar. And where are we? We're afar. Remember, Yahushua told the disciples that they will have to teach the word unto the uttermost part of the earth. And that's where we're at right now, afar. And that's why Yahushua is coming from the east to the west to gather his elect. It says, and thy seed from the land of their captivity, singular, mainly here in America. But you will have Israelites that are part of the elect that will be delivered from the four corners of the earth, but the main deliverance is going to be here in America. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. But we have to go through this. First, we have to go through this horrible time that's coming. And the Lord's will this be the year, man, because that's just going to speed everything up even more also. Because the time of Jacob's trouble, what's going to happen, they already got everything in place for the MOTB, the micro C-hip. So that's nothing. All they got to do is pass a mandate or have some type of, emergency and say, well, from now on, the cash we're no longer accepting cash, no longer accepting credit cards, no longer, they could do that. In order for you to operate right now, since we're under high alert, you have to take this device, like in the first purge, and other than that, you won't be able to operate. This is a state of emergency, so there's nothing that you could do. It can't, and they could invoke that. Where it couldn't even be reviewed for 6 months. You see? Verse 11, for I am with thee, saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations whither I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished, right? Because he has a promise that he made to Abraham. And he's not going to break that promise, not even for his great name's sake. Not even for his word's sake, not even for his great name's sake. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, thy bruise is incurable. Because really, technically, none of us should be able to make it out of here. But through the grace and mercy of Yahweh Shem Shai and his word and his promise, we have a chance. We have hope. Thy bruise is incurable and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. And that's why the Lord eventually had to send Yahweh Shai to deliver us. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. Right, that's the other nations. They seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Yeah, thy sorrow is incurable, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee. And that's why you see Jake in the condition that they're in. Sometimes you see Jake out there, you feel bad, but the Lord got us in this situation for a reason. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. Listen in vocab. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. What does the word captivity mean? Slavery. All nations are going into slavery underneath the nation of Israel. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So there's going to be retribution, payback, vengeance. It says, for I will restore health unto thee. And how is the Lord restoring health unto us? By this truth, by this knowledge, by the medicine, the homeopathic medicine of the scriptures that the Lord has given to us. Wow, the elder Kazakh said, man, wow, I was just having a dream about this. Yeah, it's heavy. The brother, the priest Amawanga Bar in New York, he just had a dream about Jacob's trouble. I linked the video to the description of this video. That's what sparked the juices, to get this lesson going. Barakateh Hashem Shai for that. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds. Right, because we've been wounded with the wound of an enemy. The Lord said that. Remember, when we read the parable of Lazarus and the rich man, it said Lazarus was full of sores. It says, for I will restore unto thee, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion whom no man seeketh after. And that goes hand in hand with the book of Hosea, the first chapter. When they call outcasts, because we are outcasts, we're not recognized among these nations. All right, the word for outcast is the Hebrew word nadach, which means to impel, thrust, drive away, banish. So pretty much that would be like another way of saying exiled. And pretty much in exile, you're not counted as those people. You're slaves. And that's pretty much what we've been brought down to. And it pretty much says the same thing. And then when you read further down, it says to be chased, be hunted. Yeah, we are the chased and the hunted. By who? By Esau and the other nations. So going back, I'm gonna read that verse again. I like that verse. Verse 17. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, and no man seeketh after. But the Lord is going to seek after us. Then it goes on to say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents. In other words, the Lord is going to deliver us and have mercy on his dwelling places, and the city shall be built upon her own heap. And because the land of Israel is going to be totally destroyed, just like America. But the only difference is the land of Israel is going to be rebuilt. And the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry. Right, in the kingdom of heaven, let the saints rejoice. Let the saints glory. How does it go in Psalms, the 149th chapter? Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also. And how is it? How are we going to be multiplied? By the act of sex. Men and women in the kingdom will be having sex to bring back the rest of the Israelites that don't make it on this side. I also will glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children also shall be as aforetime. There was another point that came to mind, but it kind of escaped me. If it comes back, Lord's will, I'll bring it out. Oh yeah, the part in the first part of the 19th verse, and of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry. Yeah, because right now this is going to be a horrible, terrible time, a time of terror, a time of horror, a time of, real bad times. And those real bad times are going to eventually turn into good times in the kingdom of heaven. So there's going to be, a trade-off, so to speak. Their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them. Right, and that's the other Esau and the other nations. And their nobles shall be of themselves. Right, no longer is Jake going to be voting for no Trump, no Bill Clinton, your George Bushes, your Obamas, no more. Because the nobles are going to be of ourselves, the ones that govern and reign and pass legislation and laws, so on and so forth, or enforce legislation and laws. It's going to be all of the nation of Israel. And it's going to be men, no women. Ain't no women going to be judges or writing bills and, passing laws. None of that bullshit. You bitches are going to be shut the fuck up. Those going to put a fucking gag on your ass. You goddamn demons out there. And their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governor shall proceed from the midst of them, and I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engage his heart to approach unto me, saith the Lord? And you shall be my people, and I will be your power. Right? Because at one time, like it says in Hosea the 1st chapter, I will say that they are my people who were not called my people. That's merely paraphrasing. It says, behold, then it goes, it breaks off into something else. Behold, the whirlwind of the Lord goeth forth with fury. That's dealing with the chariots. A continual whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. And that's talking about at the end too. The chariots going to be fucking you up. They're going to be busting you up left, right, and center. The fierce anger of the Lord shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days shall you consider it. And we're in the latter days right now. And we are considering it, but it's going to be made more and more evident the closer and closer we get. So these visions that brothers are having and all the stuff that you see happening, these are just, it's just a little prelude. This is like the trailer to Jacob's trouble, things that are coming. This is the announcement, the preparation for it. Expect this is what's coming. And the movie is going to be released very soon, because the Lord is going to release that movie very soon. And it's going to be vicious out here. So it behooves you to be serious about this truth, man. Because when the time comes, there's not going to be no game plan. It's going to be hard out here. It's going to be really hard out here. And the only ones that are going to be protected are the elect of the nation of Israel. So, as the name of the lesson is, the hard truth. And the hard truth meaning is a truth that is difficult to accept. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. And to the next time I say Shalom, hope you learned something. And just prepare and get ready for what's coming. Shalom.